Hey guys, this is Howling Wolf Mysteries. I'm coming at you today. We're going to talk about the George Floyd trial. Uh, this is all my opinion. All right, so that's what I'm going to say. Um, in the trial, Derek Chauvin is looking to be charged with murder. Derek Chauvin is the police officer that laid his knee down on George Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes. And they're trying to say that George Floyd died from a drug overdose or a heart problem. But if you watch the video, mind you, disclaimer, it is pretty tragic. Um, it's disturbing, and it should have never happened. He went into the store to buy cigarettes. He had a counterfeit $20 bill, but it's been said that he probably doesn't even know if it was a fraudulent $20 bill. The store called the police after discussing with them to come in and pay for it, and they refused. So the police were called. They immediately knocked on George Floyd's window with the butt of a flashlight. He opened the door. He kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm not a bad guy. He was scared to death. And they kept saying, put your hands on the wheel. Tell me why the officer that knocked on his window pulled his gun to an unarmed man in the driver's seat for a fraudulent $20 bill. He was not armed. What? Because he was big? He wasn't armed. You're trained. Why are you going to pull your gun and say, put your hands on the wheel? So that's a whole different subject. The use of force was just preposterous. So, George Floyd was scared to death. He said, look, I've been shot by the police before. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. I'm scared to death right now. He was so scared he couldn't move. That's why it took him so long to put his hands on the wheel. They finally removed him from the car. They went to arrest him. He was scared to death. He said, don't hurt me, sir. Don't hurt me, sir. Please. I've been shot by the police before. I'm scared, sir. Please. This big man that they were probably intimidated by was scared to death of him. They walked him over by the store, sat him down. They said, thank you, sir. Thank you, God. Thank you for not hurting me. Thank you for not hurting me. Anyways, they said that George Floyd was high. He died of a drug overdose. Okay? Well, when they asked George his name, he spelled it first, middle, and last, word for word, letter for letter. They got him up. They went to put him in the police car. This man, who was scared to death, said, I'm claustrophobic. Please don't put me in there. Please don't put me in there. Please don't. I'm claustrophobic. Can I stay out here? Please don't put me in there. They pushed him in, and he ran out the other side because he was so scared. If anybody knows of phobias, whatever it may be, mice, heights, anything, you run from your phobia. He was afraid of small spaces. That back seat of the car was a small space. He ran out. They pinned him to the ground. 3 trained officers were on top of him. Ex-officer Derek Chauvin had his knee on the back of his neck and in between his shoulder blades, pinning him down. He kept saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Ex-officer Chauvin said, well, you're talking so you obviously can breathe. They brought in a respiratory specialist, the prosecutor did. Witness. Well, he wasn't a witness, but he watched the video. And he said there's certain movements that showed that he was losing oxygen. He was trying to push up. He wasn't resisting. He was trying to push up with his body, trying to turn so he can breathe. He moved his feet, trying to move so he could breathe. He said, but lastly, his knuckle pushed against the tire to push himself up to breathe. But he couldn't. Next, they showed his feet jumping up, him moving, twitching. They said that shows that he's getting deprived oxygen in his brain. He's having seizures. George Floyd died. They said that they showed a picture of George Floyd to the respiratory expert. That respiratory expert said at that moment he had zero oxygen throughout his whole body. In his blood, everything. He had zero oxygen. Prosecutor asked, did the police remove themselves then? He said no. They stayed on top of him for 3 more minutes. Paramedic Derek Smith got out of the ambulance, came up, checked his pulse. They had to move the police off of him. Like, hey, get off. Checked his pulse, checked his eyes. Prosecutor asked, what did you think? He said, I thought he was already dead. In layman's terms, he was dead. They put him in the ambulance. They drove around the corner because of the crowd. Well, they started working on him. Chest compressions. They had a machine, too. A machine that went around, clipped chest compressions for him. Breathing. The fire department came. Nothing. No improvement. None. Rushed him to the hospital. Doctors, nurses filled the rooms. Tried to get him to come back. Nothing. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. But evidence showed he died under Derek Chauvin's knee. He did not need to die. He would not have died that night. Defense comes up and says, can you die in the prone position? The witness said, no, unless you have those other issues. And he's like, that's not what I'm asking. Can you die in the prone position? He's like, if I'm out laying on the beach or laying by the pool, sunbathing, am I going to die? She said no. That's what she should have looked. Somebody should have looked at the defense and said, George Floyd was not laying by his pool. He was not laying by a beach. He was under the knee of a police officer who weighs, with gear, around 200 pounds. Let's lay you down in the prone position, put 200 pounds on your neck for over 9 minutes. You can't move. Just take it. See if you can breathe. My opinion, he should be charged. Yes, he should. That's my opinion. Your opinion may be something else. Because he had heart conditions. Because he was on drugs. He would not have died that night. You guys are probably asking me, how do you know? Because the witnesses, medical examiners, doctors, checked him all out. Autopsy. They said he would not have died that night. Derek Chauvin should be charged. He should. Well, that's the end of this video, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Howling Wolf Mysteries. Press subscribe. I'm going to be posting more videos here soon. Prayers for George Floyd's family, and to be honest, prayers for Derek Chauvin's family. They didn't ask for this either, and they're probably going to lose their father to prison because of his bad choices. But stay safe, you guys. God bless.